Hi folks, this is Johnny Cancer, and we're going to play Legendary Wings, also known in Japan as Ares no Tsubasa, or the Wings of Ares. I like that sound. I thought that was a cool insert coin sound. Okay, let's get started here. I don't think I'm going to LP the whole game because, frankly, it's pretty hard. And it really isn't that interesting in the later levels. Aside from the art direction, it gets pretty repetitive. And I'll explain what I mean by that later. Also, I should point out that I'm not actually that good at this game. The only reason I'm able to do as well as I am at the moment is because I went in and changed the dip switches in MAME so that the difficulty is set on easy. Because at the default normal mode, I am awful, and the game is incredibly cruel. Okay, anyway, here we have the first, I guess, I wouldn't call it an innovation, but it's sort of a novelty of Legendary Wings. In the middle of each stage is a giant head, and it will attempt to suck you in, and it takes you into a non-bonus stage. You actually don't want to end up here, because there's no prizes or anything to be won, no weapon upgrades that you can find here. It basically just wastes time, and you really risk getting killed. Just like that. Now, luckily, these levels aren't really that hard. If you start at the beginning, you can pretty much just walk straight through. And as long as you don't fall off, nothing that bad will happen. The biggest threat is actually the little beetle-like creatures that are running around, because they'll push you off of the platforms. The dragons, as long as you shoot them, or keep shooting continuously, that's pretty much never going to be a problem. Alright, yeah, we're here at the end already. Oh, lag. See if I can't fix that in post. And here's, I guess, it's a mini-boss of sorts. It's actually harder than the real boss of the first stage. And we're out of that. Take wings again and defeat enemies. I think Legendary Wings might be most famous for its pretty poor English translation. Although, it's interesting that that English text is actually in the Japanese version of the game, which is what we're playing at the moment. I do want to point out that the main character is a woman, which was a bit unusual for games at the time. This was released in November of 1986. In August of 1986, I believe it was, the original Metroid was released on the Nintendo Entertainment System. And as people who have played that, and I'm assuming that's pretty much everybody, will recall, that had Samus Aran in it, and that's widely known as the first time that there was ever a female protagonist in a video game. I think it's probably correct. But it's interesting to note that in Metroid, even though you did have a female protagonist, that she wasn't prominently female. Whereas in Legendary Wings, which was released the same year, it's quite clear that you're playing a female character. Oh, these guys are tough if you're not powered up, and I am not powered up at all. At least you can shoot the projectiles. Now, one difference between the arcade game and the port that was made to the Nintendo Entertainment System is that in the Nintendo game, when you get to the end of the stage, you have to fight a dragon. And in the arcade game, you just fight these statues, which are not that bad right now, but they fire projectiles much more quickly and in greater volume in the later levels. Oh, there we go. That wasn't too bad. And here we are at the boss rush. And again, you can pretty much walk straight through it. As long as you keep shooting continuously, you're not really going to have any problems. Because you can just blast right through the walls. Now, there is one added little danger here, which is that the floor falls away in certain parts, and the game loves to start you up at the top when you die, which usually ends up penalizing you because all of the really tough enemies are at the top. We'll fall down here. Get back on track. No, don't lag. This is not... This shouldn't be lagging. It's not that advanced. As far as video game technology goes. Oh, no. Don't... Game over! You know what? I'm just going to stop it there. I think that should prove why we're not going to LP the whole thing. Good night, folks.